Hello, everyone. I'm Colleen Vanderzyden, and this is Creating an Inspired Life. Thank you so much for watching and listening today. I am a medium, and as a medium, I connect in with our loved ones on the other side. And I'm also a certified intuitive life coach. And as a life coach, I help people handle their problems. I help them create the life they want to have. Now, today's coaching tip is all about a question you can ask yourself to kind of affirm to yourself how far you've come in life and some of the lessons you may have learned. This comes from a long time ago. I was sitting in a meeting in after school one day when all of a sudden the ceiling started moving. It was like there was a wave over our heads. And I looked out the window and I saw kids playing soccer out there, but it didn't look like it was really windy. We did have the windows open, so I thought maybe some wind had gotten in and messed around with the ceiling. But it was really strange and really confusing. It seemed like things were moving. And then, of course, later on, we realized we'd had an earthquake. Now, I live in an area where we don't really have earthquakes. It's not normal. Every now and then we have a tremor that's very small and it goes unnoticed. But this one was noticeable. After we found out what it was, I remember saying, I wish I had known what it was so I could have enjoyed it more. Rather than being confused at that moment, I would have experienced it with a little bit more curiosity, the feeling of, isn't this interesting attitude? How many times have we thought in our lifetimes, I wish I had known? We wish we had known the last time we saw someone would be the very last time we saw someone. If we had known, we would have appreciated that time with them. We would have valued being in their presence. We would have appreciated the present moment. Or maybe we wish that we had known that whatever happened in high school really wasn't that important, and we might not have gotten sucked into some of those challenging situations. Or maybe we wish we had known we wouldn't be stuck in a certain problem forever. It felt like we were going to be there forever. But if we had known ahead of time, we wouldn't have felt like we were stuck and hopeless. These things that we wish we had known would have made our lives easier if we had learned the lessons sooner, but we didn't, because we learn our lessons in exactly the divine timing we're supposed to learn them. This idea of asking yourself that question, what you wish you had known earlier in life, can help you recognize what's valuable to you right now. You can see your growth. You can see what you've learned. You can see what's important. You can learn a lot about yourself by asking this question. Maybe you wasted a lot of time worrying over things that weren't controllable. And when you look back, you can see that. If you had known earlier that there's no purpose in worrying over something that you can't control, you might have saved yourself some trouble. But you can use this information now in the present, at this present time. When you think of the things you wish you had known earlier in life, look for the lessons. Whatever you wanted to be different then, you are now aware of, or you wouldn't have noticed this. You might be using this information to live a better life right now and not even realize it. When I look back on my life, I wish I had known that things had a tendency to work out on their own without my trying to control everything. When I was younger, I was really stuck in worrying. I would worry about the past, something that had happened in the past, or a potential future, or I could worry about something that I might have said or done that was questionable, or whatever it was. It was a very hopeless way of living, and it was one where it seemed that life happened to me rather than my creating my life. It was like I had no control over anything. And because I felt like I didn't have control, what did I do? I tried to control everything as much as possible. And the theory was, subconsciously, that if I tried to do that, then nothing would go wrong. And we know that doesn't work. No matter how hard you try to control, there are things that are going to go wrong. Eventually, I realized my problems were inevitable. Everybody has them. But I also realized that didn't mean they had to ruin my life. I didn't have to get stuck in the worry and the stress. I had a choice in how I responded. I could choose to worry or not. When I realized that life tends to work out on its own without any control on my part, I could release that feeling of having to control. I didn't feel like I had to control it any longer. I could trust and let go of the stress and the worry and all of that. This awareness is now a big part of my present life. I pay very close attention to when I start to get worried about something and realize no matter how much I try to control it, I'm not going to be able to, so I can let it go and just trust. I did ask my Facebook followers a little while ago what they wished they had known earlier in life. And their answers were varied, which was perfect. They were all over the place. And that was great because they had their own unique paths. We should all have our own individual answers to this question. But within those answers were some key similarities. And the big ones, many of the comments had things to do with their abilities to be strong in who they really were, to be true to themselves. Many people thought that they wished they had learned earlier the power that they had to actually follow their own path, to not try to please other people, to not try to do what other people expected them to do. Many people talked about the importance of feeling loving towards themselves or trusting themselves. And basically, it really all came down to understanding that they have the responsibility in how they create their lives, how they're experiencing their lives. Everything that happens to us is an opportunity for us to reclaim our self-responsibility. And some of the ideas that people mentioned and other people have talked to me about were things like, if you wish you had known that nothing was standing in your way, would you have gone for whatever it was you wanted to have? If you had known that you didn't have to allow someone to abuse you or criticize you, would you have taken action to get out of that? If you wish you had known that you had unlimited potential, would you have then risked trying to do something you really wanted? Whatever you wish for, no matter what it was that you wish you had known earlier, just understanding that that was something that you're now recognizing, it can lead you to this new understanding of who you are and the power you have to change your life. You can realize that if you don't like something, you're the one that has the power to change it. No one else is. You can follow your own path. You can do whatever you want. You can take care of yourself. You can move into that unlimited perspective where you realize you are worthy of everything you want. But when you think about that question, you'll see that this awareness, this brings an awareness to you where you'll find you're living life with whatever it is you just noticed. So for me, like my example of how I used to worry all the time and then I realized that life would work out, I'm living that now. And if you ask this question of yourself, you may find that you also are living whatever it is you wished you'd learned sooner. There's nothing wrong with learning it a little bit later in life because we do learn everything in the right timing that is perfect for us. Asking yourself this question can help you reclaim your responsibility and help you realize how far you've come in your life. It might also help you look at some current situations with a new eye, with a more curious, isn't this interesting attitude. You might be able to just kind of enjoy something that before you wouldn't have. So explore this idea and see what you can learn about yourself. It really could help you create your best life right now in the present. And the question is, what would you wish you had learned in the past? What did you wish you could have learned in the past that could have helped you at that time? Because it's helping you right now. And that's my coaching tip of the day. You can connect with me at my website, psychicmediumcolleen.com, as well as on Facebook, Colleen Vanderzyden, medium and intuitive life coach. Now we will take our first caller, Erica from Georgia. Erica, how are you today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing quite well, thank you. And how can I help you today?
Well, I have a few questions. I'm just wondering when or if my life, my living situation was going to improve. I'm kind of starting brand new. So haven't been doing very well as far as like career-wise or anything.
Okay.
And just, I don't know, like if you pick up on anything in general.
Okay. Now, this is interesting to me. Tell me if this is accurate, because I feel like this change for you was not necessarily something that you wanted. Okay. It feels like it was kind of thrust upon you. Is that accurate?
Yes, it is.
Okay, because it doesn't feel like it's something you jumped into wholeheartedly, shall we say? And I understand. Yeah, I understand. There's some financial concerns, and you're mentioning career, but I can also feel some financial concerns. Right now, I'm not feeling like it's dire situation. I definitely do feel a concern there, and part of it too. Are you in a whole new location as well? Because it seems like you're in a new location and you don't know as many people. Is that right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay because it feels like you don't have your support system around you. Is what it feels like. It feels like you're all by yourself, basically. And that's difficult.
Like that.
Yeah, isn't it difficult? Yeah. It's hard to do that because
you know what's funny? I have my family here, but I don't feel supported. I've always been the oddball and the black sheep. And, I have a lot of creative talents and desires, and I'm not fitting the expectations of where I'm at, So that's very frustrating for me.
Yes, well, I can tell you that you're one of my most favorite people to meet because I love a person who is the oddball or the person who doesn't fit in, because that's the person who's going to be creating their most wonderful life. Okay, so that's perfect. And, I'm always talking about being you and not doing what other people want you to do. So I'm so nice to meet you because that's the way it's supposed to be. It's perfect. And, not fitting in is a wonderful thing because it really does make you reconnect to yourself, who you really are and what you want to have instead. And, so don't feel like you're wrong or abnormal or anything like that or whatever, just because of that situation, because you're the one that's going to be creating the most amazing life. So don't ever feel like you're less than because of that. And I have to tell you, I understand, I can feel that you're a person who actually has some enthusiasm for things. I know that when you do something, you do it to the best of your capabilities. I know you take your responsibility seriously, and I know you're a hard worker as well. Okay. So I wouldn't be too concerned about this whole new situation in terms of success, that kind of thing, because that's going to work itself out. I have no doubt about this. Do you have a job right now that you're in?
Well, I was thinking of starting at this restaurant for waitressing, and I actually, I've only been a month ago, I was in the hospital. I was in the hospital for almost a month. I had a piece of my lung taken out. So I've been through a lot. Like I would go on drinking binges and get sober, and then, so the last place I wanted to be was here, because now I'm like having to stay with one sister or family member. And so I feel, like, oh my God, now they're really going to feel like they're right about, how they think how I'm supposed to be and how I'm living my life. But I really want to get into the singing and the acting and the dancing. And I just really want to live my potential, because I came so close to dying that I just told myself I'm not going to hold back. But sometimes I wonder if I'm even in the right location, or if there's something I could do to make things easier on me, because it feels very difficult everything right now.
Now, are you working another job or anything now? Just a job to get by?
Not yet, but I was going to go start a restaurant job on Saturday.
Okay, so it's coming. It's coming up, because I feel like there is a job there, so I'm glad you have it, because it feels like you have a job, and it just feels like it's a job. It's not like your dream job here. But it will work, because you need to get out of the house. You need to meet more people. You need to, feel more like yourself again and get back to your responsible self, who likes to do things. I would caution you, with the acting and the singing and all of that stuff, to just make sure that you're well aware of what's happening before you move into that kind of thing. And every place seems to have some kind of theater groups or music groups and things like that to perform in. So you can find those things, whether they're community groups or whatever. So they are there, but don't quit your job or anything like that, thinking you're going to follow that dream. I don't think you would do that, but I do want to make sure I say that, because the acting and singing, to make a career at that, is very difficult. And I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm trying to be realistic, okay? I don't want you to feel, like if it doesn't work out right away, to give up either. So you've got to find the smaller, I can't talk, jobs or gigs. You've got to find the smaller ones first so that you can build on that, okay? And where you are now, it does feel like there are places that you can perform. So you just have to make those connections. It's easy enough to do, we can go online and you can Google it, and find those connections so you can start doing some of that. In the meantime, keeping the job is going to be paramount here. And again, I want to go back to, don't worry if you feel like people are judging you. Yes, okay, so maybe you made some mistakes in your life. Doesn't everyone, you understand where you went a little astray there. You understand it. So understanding is, what do they say? Something like 99% of the battle if you know it, so you're already there. And I feel so very strongly that you're in a good place, with yourself. You're in a good place with yourself. Having had a brush with death there's nothing like that to make us reevaluate our lives. And you know what you want to head towards. So don't give up on the dream, okay? I want to make sure you don't give up on the dream, no matter how hard it might get. Keep going with it, because that's going to lead you to more opportunities. Okay, now I also do feel, and I do want to mention this, I feel like you're going to be moving into a different place at some point as well. But I feel like you're saving your money as much as you can, okay? So I want to be saving money, and I feel like eventually you're going to move into your own place, because it seems like you want to be in your own place, number one. But also, so you have the freedom to do what you want to do without feeling like people are, looking at you and wondering what you're up to, so that actually feels on the side rather than later. So we're in July now. So it feels like by the end of the year, the calendar year, that you will have saved up enough money that you can move into a new place. Whether it's in the same area or not, I'm not sure. But you'll have a much better idea of that. Okay. It does kind of seem like you're going to stay there a little bit. So that feels okay to me. So a little homework for you, if you haven't done it yet, is to do some Googling and see what's out there. So you can get involved in things and just make different connections. Because once you start making connections, more and more connections will come. And you'll have new friends as well. And you probably realize or know that people who are in theater and music are very accepting people. We accept everybody, you know. That's true. And they're fun. There's really not judgment as to who you are as a person in that field. True. So that could really help you meet some new people too. So definitely get on that. We want you to get on that as soon as possible.
I just have a question. I had tried to move back to Costa Rica in February. I was going to move there. That didn't end up happening, but a lot of that was because of my own fears. And then I just, I got off track, and then I just got on. But I just want to make sure. I don't know, I don't know if I should aim towards going there or if I should just stay here, I don't know.
My feeling is you should stay where you are. Okay. My feeling is you stay where you are for a little bit of time, because I want to get you more stable so to speak. I want to make sure you're in a good place and you're able to stay there. Okay, so I want you to do that. And then after a bit of time, then you'll have a better idea. So don't think too far ahead. Don't plan too far ahead with it. It's in the back of your mind. It's not going to go away. So you won't forget. So you'll know as time goes on if it's the right step for you. So just kind of relax into what you're experiencing right now and start heading in that other direction with the theater stuff and start moving in that direction. Because once that starts going, you may have a whole different perspective on so many things. So it's kind of like trusting that it's going to work out the way it's supposed to work out, which is my lesson of all time. So trusting that it's just going to work out the way it's supposed to. That means you always keep moving forward, though. So you keep moving. You don't just sit around and wait for something to happen to you. You take action. And the action will lead you to the next step, and it just goes that way. So just do that. So Erica, it was so nice talking to you. You have some fun, Thank you. Just be you. Be you. We don't give a crap what anybody thinks about you. So be you, okay?
All right.
Well, good luck with everything.
Thanks.
Nice talking to you. Bye. And that was Erica from Georgia. And next we're going to move on to Debbie from Montana. Debbie, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well. How can I help you?
Questions on, am I walking down the path I'm supposed to be walking down, and my spiritual gifts. Having issues with my third eye. I know I have some healing hands. There's things that I know, like with medicine and stuff like that, that I just tune into, and I help people just by touching them. And is this just a natural thing with me? And I have some angels with me all the time. One is my grandma. One is an Indian medicine woman. And the other one is a short, fat, bald man that smokes cigars or cigarettes, and I don't know who he is. Those are my questions.
Okay, so the second type of person that I love to talk to the most is somebody who does all of these spiritual things. And we are now in a time of great awakening. There's a consciousness shift happening, as I'm sure you will realize, where so many people are waking up to their gifts and the strengths that they have connected to the spiritual, the metaphysical, the healing, mediumship, those things. And for you, it was funny, as soon as you started talking, my hands started tingling. And when my hand's tingling, that usually means healing. I can feel the healing, the abilities that you have. It is interesting too, because you do that medical intuitive thing too, where it's like you can touch in and you know what's going on in the body here a little bit. And this is a great thing to be able to do. Do you actually work on people now?
I work as a CNA, but I also work at the hemp plant in Eureka, Montana. So even with people at work, I just touched them. For an example, there was a girl that had an eye issue. Straight on, and all I did was grab her shoulder, hit a pressure point, massage it out, and then did an elbow rub on her, and it took her eye pain away. This is just a natural intuition that I have. It's a feeling, like I just feel.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, which is perfect. And that's what you need to do. You need to follow yourself. You need to follow the intuition that speaks to you. You may not do well in, like if you were to take a healing class, because it might limit you actually. And I teach healing classes all the time, but I think it might limit you a little bit, because for you, it is a matter of touching in with yourself. And that's what I always tell people to do. Use these techniques, but do what feels right for you. So you're doing that already. And what you're doing by helping other people just in their own needs is perfect, because the more you do that, the more people are going to come to you. Okay. You can also do this at a distance as well. You don't have to be in their presence. So you can do it at a distance too. And you may find what I do for that, and I feel like this would work for you as well, is I use my body as a barometer for the other person. So if I'm doing a distant healing, I actually feel what's going on in their body in my body. And then, so I'm basically working on my body, which fixes their body. So, for example, if I had, say, a head pain or something, I might put my hand near my head, or I might just envision the healing going there, and then they would feel it that way. You can also do it not just with the body, but by moving your hands around as though the person is right in front of you. Okay, and the reason I'm telling you this is because I feel that if people start talking about you in a positive way, of course, more and more people are going to contact you, and you won't be able to meet with them personally, okay? Right. So you'll have that other option. So you just want to make sure you explain to them exactly what you're thinking, how it works. Just give them a little idea, especially if they've never done anything like that before. Tell them to be open and accepting, that kind of thing. So you want to give them a little preview thought, so they have that. So this is perfect for you. And do you also find, relying on your inner self like that intuition, do you also find that your intuition is getting a lot stronger and you're having premonitions as well?
I'm starting to have premonitions. I'm starting to feel more and more, but it's almost to the point it kind of scares me a little bit. So, I've had some experiences where I've heard my name being called. I've had my leg pulled in bed, and that kind of spooked me because I wasn't ready for it. And the meditation thing, I really want to get to the point where I want to be working for Mother Earth and the humans, not save, but work with people and help people, right? And that's all of it. It's Mother Nature, animals, everybody. And I really just want to be in tune with everything and learn more and just be able to help. That's the biggest thing. Okay.
So this is, we only have a few seconds left, like 90 seconds left. So I would recommend what you do is you start a notebook or some kind of record of things that happen so you can recognize it. I would also recommend you send up positive energy and say, I only want good things to come in, good premonitions, because the bad ones tend to sneak in faster and because they're a little bit heavier, so they get in sooner. So you want good things to come in and keep asking to be guided as much as possible. Okay, so just keep asking to be guided. Say things like, I trust that you're guiding me. You can ask your guides, you can ask angels, you can ask God, whatever feels right to you. And just keep doing that and say, thank you for guiding me. Thank you for guiding me. The more you say it, the more you're going to be guided to just the right place. Okay, so just keep doing that. That will help a lot. Working with energy is the perfect way to learn how to handle the abilities that you're having. Okay, so Debbie, I have to let you go, but thank you so much. It was so nice talking to you. Have fun with that.
I will. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. You're welcome. Bye-bye. And that was Debbie from Montana. And I do want to thank all of you for watching and listening today. I'm Colleen Vanderzyden, and this is Creating an Inspired Life. You can reach me at psychicmediumcolleen.com. It's been great talking to you today. You have a good week, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.